Hi,
Hi, Valerie. How are you?
good. Oh, your lighting is so good. Look, I can't even see myself.
Yeah, I got a new room light, which seems to have a better light than
You
before.
look great. It looks beautiful.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Look, you have to when you get older, Valerie. You're still at the age where you don't need the special light.
Are you serious? I can't see
I...
anything. Oh my God, I'm getting blinder and blinder every day. Oh, we have more people here already.
We've got lovely Rachel. Hello, Rachel.
Hello to you
Great to have
both
Hi,
this
you
evening.
join us.
Did you ask me
hi,
something
Meg.
then? Oh no.
Oh no, I said great to have you join us.
That yes, thank you. My volume was just down a bit.
I recently bought the red glasses as well for TV at night, so
Yeah.
I should
I
start
feel like
wearing
I
them.
do this like it's just such an adjustment to make.
It is, isn't it? Yeah.
Mhm.
Now I'm gonna have to start wearing them in the Zoom calls as well,
Yeah.
right?
You have a whole team of red glasses, I reckon. Hmm. Did you have red lights and everything at home? Because I've got like the whole shebang, most of my lights, yeah.
Not fully in the new place we moved to, but the
Yeah.
previous place,
Mm.
yes, because I stayed with someone that had the lights,
Yeah.
and within 4 days,
Yeah.
I started going to bed on time.
Because you were
It wa-
synced up properly.
it was
Yeah.
amazing. I was like, whoa, this is worth every penny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we're still early. We're like 3 minutes early.
hmm
And let's see how we
Um,
go.
I also brought the full spectrum sunlight lamp as well. So, like when I get up early in the morning, if I don't want to go outside in the middle of winter, I just like turn it on while I'm making my morning cup of tea and just like faffing about in the kitchen, which is quite nice for this to
Ooh.
kickstart the circadian rhythm.
Can you send me the link?
I can do that.
Especially,
Yep.
especially
Yep.
with winter coming up, it would be
Yes.
lovely
Yeah.
having that in the kitchen.
Yeah, it's really nice. Like it's quite bright and like in your face, but it's also got infrared. So if it's the other end of the day, you can also have it on in front of you just for all the things that that's good for too.
Amazing. Thank you. Thank you.
Mhm.
Got one more person. This was very last minute change. So thank you,
Mm.
Valerie, and thank you to those joining like last minute. I hope Nicole feels better soon.
Thank you for being able to join last minute. I just texted you this morning. It was really spontaneous, but we've been waiting to do something together for ages, right? We've been talking about it for so long.
Absolutely. So, whatever happens, it's going to be useful. I know it.
Mm.
So that's not your real house, is it, Rachel?
No, it's not at all. It's a new space I practice from. I took a photo the other day so that like I can have it in the background when I'm doing client sessions, but I'm not in there in person.
Well, that's a really cute
That's
idea.
smart. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's really smart.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
because
feel like you get sick of looking at yourself in the same background all the time when you're online
Mhm.
so much. So,
Yeah,
hmm.
fair enough, fair enough.
Yeah. So if I fade away when I move, oh no, it's okay now. But if I move, I kind of fade into the background.
It's a nice
Oh,
idea, but it
Ilona.
doesn't always work, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Christy, hi, sweetheart.
Hi, hon.
Good to see you.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Good to see you too, darling.
Mm.
Oh,
So we're supposed to have, I don't know, 20, 30 people on today.
you know
So
what it's
do we
like.
want to wait a few more minutes?
We'll give them a 1 minute and then I can add them in if you make me a co-host.
I don't
Um,
need to add anyone. Actually, you see, people are coming in because I canceled the option of wait room because I knew that there will be a lot of people.
oh, I see. Okay, great idea. I didn't know you could do that.
I just saw it in front of me. You see, I'm still checking on the phone how to do certain things, even though both of us, it's funny because both of us do a lot of work online, a lot of mentoring work. And there are still all these little things with Zoom and events and stuff that, yeah, it's just always researching more and more technology, huh?
Rachel and Ilona will tell you, I need help. And I get it. And I'm not afraid to ask for help
I need help.
when we are on the calls. It's okay.
Oh my God, I always do that as well.
Yeah.
Well, okay, let's start then.
Yes.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome and thank you. Thank you for joining us. I am Valery Topaz, or Val, to those of you who don't know me. And I am joined today by the wonderful, wonderful Sharon Bolt. And I'm a bit distracted because I can't see myself again. I see random people. And yeah, we decided to do this talk today about ethical practice and integrity in the spiritual business space. So for those of you who didn't see our notification, our announcements, this call today was supposed to be with Nicole Rowan. We were supposed to do the call on AI specifically, but that is not moving ahead because she's not here. She's unwell. She couldn't join us. She can't speak. She has a very serious cough. Here, now I can see myself. Now I can focus. Wonderful. So Nicole cannot be here today. So we are going to do this call today, me and Sharon, because again, both of us have been in this space talking about ethics and integrity for so long. And we wanted to do this call. So that's a wonderful opportunity. Nicole will come back to everyone here on the call and offer you another opportunity to talk more about AI specifically and also to teach some practical tools for those who are interested in it. But today we have a few things to address. So after we introduce ourselves a bit more in depth, the things that we wanted to discuss today, I'll just read out to you a bit of the topics that we wanted to discuss. One of the major ones is power and sovereignty, because we all know how outsourcing and having expectations for answers to come from the outside can affect our own power, how we show up in this space, and the level of sovereignty we can actually bring into our work. So we have power and sovereignty. We have working from alignment, integrity, and this is where we really wanted Sharon to talk a bit more about what is integrity and going a bit deeper into that, integrity and ethics. So ethics specifically, for me, it sits together with code of conduct. And because a lot of us know that us in the more alternative, spiritual, holistic space, this whole industry is not regulated. And we don't want it to be regulated like the mainstream stuff because it will limit us. But at the same time, it means that what we do and how we practice, we don't have any boundaries and rules when it comes to client safety. And this is not something that you learn when you learn a modality. So unless you come to people like us, there's nowhere to learn that. So we wanted to have a conversation about that. We feel like it's very important and it's becoming more and more important in this space, especially now that there are so many two-day courses and anyone can practice. So we will address that. We wanted to talk a bit about coaching and mentoring in the regular, more when it comes to other businesses, any other business versus the spiritual and holistic space. We will try to address AI as much as we can. Both of us are not experts on AI, but we obviously feel like it's important to bring this conversation forward because AI is here and we're exposed to it and it affects us. So yeah, it's something that we will have to address at some point. So it's not about us telling you anything or teaching you anything. It's an open conversation. We also have our concerns, and we want to open this conversation to the community, to everyone. And that's why after that, you are welcome to ask us any questions. We're going to open the mic for Q&A. We are going to, obviously, you can drop your questions in the chat box all throughout this talk. We are going to jump back and forth. If you missed our conversation beforehand, this is very spontaneous. We don't have like a clear order for things for today. So me and Sharon are going to just go with the flow of this conversation. We will read your questions later on, just not to get distracted, because we have so much to cover, and we will try to address it as much and as in depth as possible. And also, Sharon is bringing some interesting things with her today. She was telling me about a wonderful tool that she has to assist us in the decision making of the questions that we're addressing and the benefit of the questions for this specific group and collective. So I will let Sharon introduce herself first, and then I can introduce myself, and we can start with the first topic.
Thank you, Valery. Thank you for organizing this. Thank you to everyone that has come at the very last minute. Those of you that are not on camera, I really invite you to be on camera so we can see your beautiful faces and we can see your reactions and how you're doing. Obviously, you don't have to, but it really helps. Both Valery and I are manifesting generators and we respond to the energy in the group. So if we don't see any energy to respond to, it makes it harder for us. I will just say, go to my website, thetempleofshamanicmagic.com, and there you'll find all the information about me. But I'm a spirit worker, learning and growing every day and trying to share my learnings with as many people as possible.
Beautiful. Thank you for this. Would you like to tell us a bit about the tool that you're bringing with you?
Yes, yes. Some people in this group are already familiar with the tool. It's called Water Constellations, but it can also be used to read the energy in the room, the energy of a group. It was created by my teacher, Juan Carlos Arias Quintana. And the way Water Constellations works is, so we have our conscious mind. Through dowsing, we can access the consciousness of our body and some of our subconscious mind, and through kinesiology as well. However, dowsing and kinesiology are not 100% accurate because we can influence those results. I've been a dowser for 20 years. I've also been a kinesiologist, and I know that you can influence those results. Unless you're doing a lot of cross-checking, you can create an effect. The water goes to the deepest, most subconscious layers of the psyche, the collective psyche. You can't control it. And it tells you the truth. And so it's blown my mind because sometimes you're doing a water reading and you want a specific answer and you're like, do this, do that. It's not going to happen. It's an element with its own sovereignty and authority, and it's a mirror for us to see where we're at in a certain situation.
That is so fascinating. I can't wait to see it because I am not familiar with that. I will just say that I don't usually dowse. I do in my own individual way, but I did use a pendulum. So I've done your course, Sharon, and it's the most profound and in-depth course that I came across when it comes to dowsing. So that opened up more possibilities for me. But the way I do it, I already do it from a higher perspective and not that way, like more technical, because of what you just said, because it can be influenced.
And because I've taught so many people dowsing, and it doesn't matter how many times you say it in the training, people will use it to get their own way. The ego will take over, and 3 months down the line, I'll hear, well, my pendulum told me that it's her fault. Well, my pendulum said that I shouldn't do this. Well, my pendulum says that you're the problem. I'm like, oh my gosh, you have missed the key point in dowsing. And when I was doing kinesiology as well, people would do the same thing. I'm going to muscle test to see if you should go to this practitioner. Maybe the practitioner didn't like the other practitioner. And so in order to keep the business, would go, oh, the muscle test failed. And so when people come to me for the water, and I've had so many experiences of this, they'll say to me, I don't know which of your trainings I should do. So we add all my trainings and we add other. And if the water says other, and they're in the room, I'm happy to say, you should not do any of my trainings at the moment. Because the water has said, that's not where you're at. And to me, that's going into integrity. That's true integrity.
Absolutely. Look how it sits well together when we're talking about dowsing.
Yep.
It's integrity, and that is ethical conduct, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you're not trying to get people into your work or send them only to the people that you've decided, which is, I think it also connects to networking a lot. This is why I'm not a fan, like I'm such a connector and a natural networker just because I like people and I like to talk. But I don't like networking groups because automatically it means that you have to refer people to those people in your networking group. And how can you tell if they're good or not, or also if they are suitable for that specific person in that specific moment? Like, how can you tell?
Well, this is where people are giving their power away.
Mm,
And so when people say to me, Sharon, which clearer should I see? Which shamanic clearer? I give them a list. You tune in to who's best for you. Because if I say to you, Valery, you need to see this person, and you give your power away to me and you go see that person, and it's not what you expected, you're going to blame me.
mm.
And it's going to create drama. So I'm like, I don't want the drama. I want you to decide for yourself. Here's the list.
Even on a subconscious level, right? Even if people don't actually know that they're blaming you, but there's always a connection, always an attachment there. Because now you're the third party. You're like the sibling, the peacemaker. You're like the in-between piece.
I'm the
You're that
energetic
person.
link. I'm the energetic,
Yes.
right? And it's
Mhm.
kind of like, I used to love matchmaking, one of my things. It's great when it works, when you matchmake a really good couple. But when you matchmake a couple that ends up being a disaster, they're like, well, you got us together.
It's all
But
on you
now,
now.
now I stay away from the matchmaking.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so interesting. There's so much when it comes to integrity and ethical practice. We can find it just in every area of life, not just in practice. And this is where we get to focus a bit more today on practice and business, only because it's such a huge topic that we can talk about it for days and days and days. And maybe we should talk about it for a long time. But this is also why it's such a big thing that we bring into our mentoring spaces for practitioners. So I will just do a quick intro and I will tell you why it's even such a dominant theme for me. I've been a practitioner for 15 years and I've done many different things. My whole basis is biomechanics, movement, and body work. And from that, just from working with fascia and nervous system, I transitioned into energetic therapy and spiritual work. It was a natural progression of things for me because when you tap in, you can't not fully tap in if you are doing your own work. And in the last few years, most of my work and my mentoring has been focused only on other practitioners. And of course, I work with all types of practitioners, but my mentoring spaces are mainly for practitioners in their first years or first stages of practice. So you can be practicing for 20 years, but it's just like a side hustle or things, or it's not fully there. And usually it happens because people don't trust themselves and what's coming through yet, because it's not fully aligned for them. And this is where I've noticed that the integrity and ethics are topics that are so huge, not only because I'm mentoring practitioners that came from all sorts of different modalities, and they don't have that in their teachings at all, but also Because when you're in those first stages of your work, it's not even about business, it's about first stages of your work itself. Most practitioners don't trust themselves yet. And what happens when we're not fully in our sovereignty, in our own embodied self, and trusting ourselves, we tend to look for answers outside. And nowadays, most of these answers are AI, automations, outsourcing, and it can be in every type of way. It can be your social media, your marketing, your sales systems, but it can also be how you work. Who do you trust? Do you have a coach that you fully outsource your decision making to? Or are you making decisions for yourself? This is probably something that we will talk a bit more in depth about when we talk about coaching and mentoring, especially in the spiritual space. And obviously, we both have our own shares because, again, when we talk about integrity, both of us, we know each other. Yeah, we are really doing the work all the time, and we are here to share and help people only with the things that we already went through. That's why we have no other option but to do the very shitty and dirty and difficult and challenging work ourselves, because otherwise we won't be able to do this for other people. So this is why we are even in that space of mentoring and coaching, therapy in general. But yeah, I wanted to start this conversation with talking specifically about that outsourcing element and how I think it used to be a bit more simple. When we used to outsource to another person, and usually we could decipher who we can trust. Well, that has to do with how you make decisions in general, but it would be another coach or another person in the community. But now, when we don't want to take responsibility, accountability, and we don't trust ourselves, we're just disempowered because it's a new thing. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, it's a process, yeah? It takes time to actually get to a point where we can trust ourselves. It's basically not just how much we study, it's experience. That's something that I keep repeating over and over again, that you don't become a master just by existing, even though it's really common to say it nowadays. You actually need to have evidence of results. You need to have expertise. You need to practice to become that person. And that's also something that is not going to happen in the speed and the trajectory that it should happen if we outsource that learning experience and the gaining of that experience, if we outsource it to something else or someone else. And as I said before, it used to be just one or two people. Now we have so many bots and AI and softwares and things that should make it easier for you, and programs. It's like it's a whole forest of things out there that we don't even know how to even play that game anymore. And then I see that a lot of people that are in those first stages, they can feel that if they're not doing it this way, they're not doing it the right way, because that's how people do business nowadays. So I would love to hear from you, Sharon. What are your thoughts on that, on working in that spiritual space, in the holistic space as a practitioner with all those options in front of you?
There's so much to unpack here. And I actually feel a lot of compassion for people starting their business now. Certainly, when I started my business, it was all about the mastery, the craft, spending hours, decades in apprenticeships. Now, you're in most trainings and they start telling you from 3 or 4 weeks into the training, you better start putting yourself out there on social media as the expert. You better start getting pretty much the equivalent of a marketing degree so that you can succeed. And so the person has so much pressure, not only to deliver on the modality, but also to deliver on the marketing. And it's actually too much, right? Because we're not allowing for the beginner journey, which is the most beautiful journey, which is when you get feedback, when you start developing the trust that you talk about, when you start developing competence. It's like you finish your training, position yourself as the expert. That's crazy. And now follow what everyone else is doing, copy and paste their marketing strategies. And you have all the ads on social media saying, if you want to be successful, you got to do this, 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 and this thing. And so I get people who are basically 6 months out of a training coming to me, and they all say the same thing. Hey, Sharon, I want a business mentoring. Okay, I said, okay, what do you want? Are we going to establish the foundations? Are we going to establish a good client base? And they come in saying, well, I want to scale. And I want to run like 4 retreats a year. And I want my own product line. And they have this like list. And I'm like, if you can't even get, I don't know, 9 clients a week, if you don't have the energetic body for that or the foundations, how are we going to scale you? Right? So there's this huge learning process that's being skipped because of the online pressure to immediately monetize your offering to the maximum capacity. There's nothing wrong with earning a lot of money, but it's like they're not ready for that yet. They're not ready to go from finishing to 50 clients. And so you get a lot of practitioner burnout, practitioner depression, practitioner comparison syndrome, competition, complaining, thinking that they failed because it took them 6 months to start to get clients. And I always remind the people I work with, it took me 7 years to establish my kinesiology clinic in London so that I could leave work and work full time. 7 years. If I were carrying on like everyone now, I would have quit within 6 months. So I have to trust Spirit. Spirit was like, you're not ready for a full-time clinic. You don't have the physical capacity. You don't have the energetics. You're still healing your own stuff. Right? And so you're going to get your clinic when you're fully ready. And if that takes 7 years, so be it. Looking back now, it was a blessing. Thank goodness, because I was not ready before that to be working with people. But you think you are. So it wasn't about trust. It's about fully knowing when divine timing opens the doors for you. Because once Spirit opened the doors for me, it was like an avalanche. It just opened and it was like, off you go. But you got to put in the time, you got to put in the hours. And as we said, there's no one size fits all in all the things that we're doing. But because we see one size fits all in the programming, we start to believe it.
Sharon, you have a few very, very important and interesting points there that I would love to address because I'm also noticing it a lot. And I think that also some of them I'm experiencing every now and then. And I think they have to be discussed. And I would say one of the main ones is when it comes to running your business and your practice in integrity with who you are, with your guidance, it can be so, so different in this space to other businesses. And as you said, it took you 7 years to establish your practice. So for you, that's how the process looked like.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it looks a bit different. I was pretty quick with that, but obviously the work was a lot smaller. So, but it moves so fast that sometimes I can't keep up. I texted you a month ago. I told you I can't keep up. I can't, there's nothing to grip. It's so powerful that it's starting to destroy my physical body. The information is so huge, I can't even maintain it. But sometimes the way the energy itself and the information that's in the ether that we're channeling, we're just the vessels of, it has its own specific wave, its own shape, its own order. And obviously there's the dynamics between the information or the work, the medicine, versus us, the vessel. And it's unique for every practitioner. So saying that, respecting our individual way, our path, our work does not mean that it's good for business. And this is where I find it so tricky. And this is where it's also probably tricky for a lot of people when they do work with us and other teachers like us, that you are not somebody who will say to them, okay, give me 6 months, I'll get you to, I don't know,
No.
5K months,
Mm-mm.
or this is what you should be aiming for. Because a client can come to you and say, this is my goal, that's what I want to achieve. Can you get me there? Are you the person? And then whether they're talking to you, to me, it would be, hold on. Let's look at foundations. Let's look at your individual blueprint. Let's look at the medicine that's moving through you. Let's look at all the work that you need to do. So for instance, for me, the how I can do that in integrity is that I have two parallels. So I have the mentoring space, and then I have the healing space. And then people that are doing that work with me can jump into the healing space and do and unpack and heal specific things in them, and then jump back into doing the work, because I can't separate. I don't know how we can separate becoming that practitioner without actually removing the things that are standing in the way, or it's not really removing, it's integrating them and growing our capacity. So I wanted to hear from you. How do you do that to remain in integrity?
I always say, because I'm a spirit worker, you're in spirit time. So if your spirit team and your soul decide that it's going to take 6 months, it's going to take 6 months. If your spirit team and your soul decide it's going to take 10 years, it's going to take 10 years. Now, you can disconnect from your soul and bulldoze your way into results from a mental level. I've done that. I did that in corporate. I'm going to get what I want, whether it's what my soul or my spirit team want. And a lot of people do this in spirituality. And I'm going to get the 5K months or whatever it is. If you don't give it to me, I'm going to go someone else, right? And I'm going to pay for the advertising and put on a show. But every time I work with a practitioner who's gotten what they want, and it wasn't from a soul level, they're not happy. It's never enough. Never. They can get to 100,000 months, 500,000 months. I have worked with people earning 300,000 months, $3,000, $100,000 a month. It's not enough. They're not happy because they still are a hungry soul. And the hungry soul is never going to be happy. Okay. And so the way I work with people is, let's get to a level of mastery and a deep relationship with spirit and your spirit team that you can receive guidance on the best way for you to proceed. And the journey is going to be different for everyone. And the biggest thing people suffer from is comparison, right? Comparison of gifts, comparison of success, comparison of, wow, it only took her a year, but it's taking me longer. Everyone's on a different soul path. I cannot copy your soul exam, Valery. Otherwise, I'm going to fail and I'm going to have to incarnate again and do it again. But everyone is copying everyone else's soul exam online. That's what we're doing. And that's crazy.
We know people that don't even have social media at all, and they have very successful practices, right?
I know
People that don't follow anything conventional.
I know lots of people who work purely on energetics, word of mouth. Again, I'm not bashing social media. It has a purpose. And so it's really showing up authentically, right? Showing up in a way that reflects who you are, not what you're told that you should be online.
So this is another element that we get to look at specifically, right? Because every practice, because it's a practice that you earn money from, it's a business. So every business has the elements of marketing, sales, the practice itself, the service that you deliver or the product. And we get to look at each one of those aspects individually for us. And actually, the scale of options is way broader. The opportunities, the options, it's way broader than we think. Because if you spend time online, you will only see what's there on that platform online, and it will make you believe that that's what you have to do. But actually, why I brought up that we know people that don't even have social media, it's not because they don't market. They just market in a different way. You
Mm-hmm.
can market only based on energetics. One of the coaches that I'm working with right now, she's sharing how she relied purely on energetics until she reached a certain amount of income. I think it was 10K months. And from that point on, she started to combine energetics as well as strategy. And then with strategy, she also had to experiment, sift and sort through things until she found which strategy works for her with her lifestyle, with her family, with her spirit team and the work evolves. So the strategy evolves,
Mm-hmm.
life changes, and you need to constantly adjust how to make these things work. And this is where it has to be individual. It has to be tailored to your individual work, medicine, your spirit team, your services, but also your lifestyle, all the other things that you do, how you show up. This is where it's also, if you actually want to be authentic and for things to be in integrity, it's not just you, the practitioner, it's also you, the human being as a whole. So I'm actually, I'm just thinking here. I find it so interesting that what you chose to bring today is a tool that's based on water, because when I'm saying you as a whole, I'm also thinking about each person's lineage. And as we know, water holds memory, memory of your entire lineage. And when we are working with water as a tool, it holds a collective memory of the entire humankind and actually the whole planet. So would you like to show us? I'm so curious.
Yeah, so it's called water constellations because we do family constellations in water precisely for that reason, because the water reflects back the issues in your lineage. The fact that we can work with it for other things um, is a bonus, but the primary reason is healing the family line. So, for example, how I would work with the water is, let's say, and I can do an example here. Let's say someone here is on 4 or 5 social media platforms. We can ask the water, which is the best platform for their soul that they should be focusing on?
Can you show us? Is it a physical tool
Yes.
that you can show
Yes,
us?
I'm going to show you. So does anyone have a question like that that we can highlight for them? Great. Thank you, Amanda. What is your question? And I just need different options because the water chooses.
I just loved your question, which is
Okay. Which social media? So what should we include? Insta?
yeah, Insta, Facebook. That's probably the main two, actually.
Let's put in TikTok.
I don't really do.
YouTube as well. Add YouTube.
Yeah, because you may not do it, but it actually
I might need to.
It's
you
a
might need
powerful
to,
option.
right? TikTok and YouTube are powerful, and LinkedIn.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
We don't know. Okay,
Yeah,
so
no, fair enough. Good, good, good.
okay, so let me grab the colors. So Amanda, you're going to be color red.
Ooh, exciting.
Oh,
Insta.
it really is like
Can
family
someone put
constellations, huh?
well, this is a question, so it's not a constellation, but I can talk you guys through it later. Can someone type in the chat Insta brown,
I'll be
facey,
writing down.
yeah, facey magenta,
Insta Brown. What's the second one?
facey magenta,
Yeah.
TikTok light blue,
Yep.
YouTube blue, and LinkedIn hot pink. So
Very specific hot pink.
and Amanda is red. So you won't be able to see me, but you'll hear me. Okay. So there's a pool.
Please, right.
So Amanda, can I please have your full name as I put my hand in the water?
Amanda Nicole 80.
Okay. Amanda, the water and I are at your service. The water is going to reflect the best options for you and your soul, and whatever your soul wants you to know right now. So water, the question is, which top 2 social media platforms are best for Amanda's business? Which top 2 social media platforms are best for Amanda's business? And we're going to see, because Amanda's red, which colors. Immediately magenta has landed. That's Facebook, but it's looking at fear. So we say it's looking, oh, look, the light green one just touched it.
Do we have green? We don't have
Oh,
green here.
it's a light, it's a, what color is that? Let me go near the thing. Hold on, there's the hot pink.
LinkedIn is playing with it, coming and going.
Colors. Insta brown, Facey magenta, TikTok light blue, YouTube blue, and LinkedIn hot pink. So this one should have been blue. I am so sorry, water. So I'm going to add the blue. I was a bit colorblind there. That's fine. Hot pink, which is LinkedIn, is looking at love, which is towards the left. So that's it's just a note right now. And Amanda, as you look at this, say yes to everything. Out loud, yes to everything as it is.
Yes to everything.
Okay. Yes to everything as it is.
Yes to everything as it is.
Exactly as it has been.
Exactly as it has been.
Right.
So much movement happening.
Yeah. And so Amanda's about to land, hopefully. Notice how Instagram is, sorry, brown, and it's kind of just sitting there. Do you use Instagram a lot, Amanda?
I used to pre-COVID, but since kind of the last couple of years, I find it doesn't work for me anymore.
Interesting.
Mm. So I just kind of just stick to Facebook.
So Amanda, there's you looking at love when it comes to your business. So I can tell you straight away, there's so much love in everything that you're putting into. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. These two don't apply as much, TikTok and Facebook, because they're looking at fear.
Ah.
LinkedIn and LinkedIn, which is hot pink, it's looking at love in the same direction as you. Just going to wait for the blue one to land and to see if Instagram lands.
Instagram's what, the brown one?
Instagram's the brown one, yes.
Mm.
And so what we do, so we don't hold up everything, because you can't push the water. You can't force it to go quicker than it is. We can let them land, and in 5 minutes, check the answer. Does that make sense?
Yeah, fascinating.
So we'll keep talking, and then in 5 minutes, I'm just going to go check what the final answer is.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
That's cool.
So that gives you an idea.
That's super interesting. And yes, I can see how it would be very individual for each person, that it will help you find your own individual way.
Yes. And it will show you things that maybe you're not considering. And it'll show you when you're landing in love, when you're landing in fear, and when you're landing in your full power. So landing in your full power in your business is landing, standing up straight. I've got no doubts. I know who I am, and I know exactly what I'm doing. How long someone takes to land in what we call the wheel of life tells us a lot as well. Amanda landed quite quickly. If someone's taking 10 minutes to land, I'm like, okay, there's some sabotage going on here. There's some blocks, there's some negative belief systems.
Which is something that all people have. All people have certain blocks and limiting beliefs, especially, I actually want to say something about that because people, especially when they're in the healing space, they can't find themselves healing indefinitely. Because when you're saying, I need to heal, I'm still unhealed, what are you planning on healing? Like the whole entire existence from the beginning of the first cell, the biological cell on planet Earth? Like, what exactly are you healing? It will never end because you start with yourself and then you go deeper and deeper and deeper. And then there's your whole lineage and ancestry. And then the same thing happens on the soul level as well. So you have one lineage of the soul, another one of your genetic body and DNA, and then you have all of your own life, and every year has its own experiences. So it never ends. So what you want to do when you work on something specific is to be very clear about your individual path. And this is where I look at your blueprint individually and understanding what you need to heal, what stands in your way right now for your next step, where you're being led. You still need to take action and understand which things are standing in your way. And that's actually, it's a lot easier than I think a lot of us think and believe. What I find to work really well is when we actually tap into that higher realm and we see everything connected to each other. I just call it a unified system because it's all of these different elements that we just mentioned and systems. And then you have all of those more specific systems in the body, in the energetic body, in the soul, in the lineage. When you see the bigger picture of things, you can see that actually the restriction or the block, it can be just one or two. But when you're really inside the story and you're facing it like that and not looking from a higher perspective, it can seem like there's so much to do. There's so much work. There's so much healing to do. Yeah.
People think they need to be perfect. They need to be in a high frequency all the time. They need to be fully healed. That's been proven again and again that none of that's true. But
And not possible.
It's just another excuse, right? Driven by fear or whatever it is. There's no such thing, as you said, as a completely healed state, right? It never ends. And so you might as well just get on with it.
Yep. Especially since all of those things, those specific blocks, the themes, they are themes. Blocks, traumas, they are our signals to our path. This is when you initiate, it's when you move through that thing and you come out the other way. That's how you know where you're headed. So basically all of those issues, they give you the trajectory. They lead you on the right path. Because otherwise, if you don't know where you're looking and you're just randomly saying, I want to heal, it's everything. It's like everything from the beginning of time. You need to know where you're headed.
I've got a teacher that says, your purpose is the thing that you've overcome that you now have to share with others.
Yes.
Basically,
I've heard that as well. It's like
I'm just
when
going
you're
to
a bit.
quickly have a look and see how we're going. Okay, so they've all landed. So Instagram's showing up really strong at the moment, Amanda.
That's interesting.
Right? Because it's standing in strength. Maybe something needed to be changed, or maybe giving it another go as a consideration. YouTube's also showing up quite strong, and YouTube is right next to you because you're female. YouTube is in your masculine, so YouTube right now would actually be one of your best options. So it would be 1, YouTube. 2, Instagram,
Yeah.
and the other three, if you want to consider them all. So number one is actually YouTube.
Yeah, interesting. Wow. I've got some stations, but I do nothing with them.
It's maybe something to consider,
But
right?
it also gives you the answer for Instagram, right? If you're saying that Instagram is strong, you just need to change something. If you are going to turn YouTube into your main, all it takes is to do long form for YouTube and then cut out pieces from it and post on Instagram. You don't need to do a separate thing for Instagram then.
Yeah, that already sounds too complicated for me. But
It really is not. It's actually, it simplifies things even more.
I need a training program on that.
Uh,
Thank you.
yeah, I guess a lot of people find themselves in this situation. So actually, how about since we already started the conversation with you, would you like for me to take a look a bit deeper and see if there's anything specific for you, Amanda, individually, that might be a bit in the way when it comes to how you show up in your practice right now? Because sometimes the marketing is only the side effect, because there's actually, as Sharon said, it's all about showing up authentically. So sometimes our authenticity is a bit blocked because there's something that we're working on internally right now,
Yeah,
and
no,
it
that'd be
creates a
lovely.
block.
It's just interesting because I guess I've had a business for 23 years and I've never had to really be on social media. It's been referral, whereas now I'm trying to do other things in my business. I have to get on social media and I'm finding that hard because it's not how I usually do my business. So,
Look,
yeah.
I just want to say to Amanda, I fully see you and resonate
Yeah.
because, right, even though I'm on social media, I'm still mostly a referral business myself. And I've been told to go on YouTube as well. And I know there's a block there. I'm like, God, no, I don't want to be on YouTube. Like, it feels so, I don't know, it just feels so exposed, right? That witch wound that we all talk about. However, if people like you who have so much experience had a lot of 5-minute videos on YouTube, like Valery said,
Mm.
right, they would bring in resonant clients from all over the world.
And I guess that's what I'm trying to change is my market from a one-on-one practitioner to a practitioner course that I'm trying to release. And so now I have to find a whole different model of clientele that don't know me. And I don't
Yeah,
get out there.
which is a whole other business model, right?
Correct.
And YouTube can be perfect for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So for instance, like we're doing this call now, it doesn't have to be originally on YouTube. You can offer things like that and just post them on YouTube and then cut bits of it and post it on Instagram.
Yeah.
And it creates this whole trajectory for you. But would you like for me to take a look? Are you okay with that? Are you comfortable with that? Would you like for me to take a
Yeah,
look?
that's lovely. Thank you.
Do I have your permission to connect, to tap in?
Yeah, you do. Thank you, Valery.
Thank you. Well, first of all, I want to say that we are in a group here, and I can already see how much the fact that there are other people here affects your individual. It's like the energy, how dense it is, and how much of it you're holding. It's a lot of it becomes exposed. It's like there's a breach in your own individual aura, your protection, but also how much of the outside noises are just penetrating your own individual energetic body, and then you get confused between what is your thought and what is somebody else's thought. It's not like you're trying to please other people. It's not one of those situations when I'm trying to interpret that. I'm just looking at it physically. I see it visually. Yeah, your whole right side becomes exposed. The left is overprotected, the right side is exposed and merging with the collective. So it's not about how you respond to other people. It's about not even knowing what is your thought and what is not yours. And then it creates this whole confusion and overwhelm of what is mine, what is not mine. And you can come across somebody else's emotion or thought and think that it's your own. But then time passes or you move away from a certain environment and then you realize that actually it's not even yours. So, for instance, I would say for you at this point in time, it's really important to do things alone and one-on-one if you're working with someone and not in a group setting, because you would be too affected by other people. So also when you teach, it would make sense more to teach online and not in person, even if maybe you have elements in person, but to make sure that a lot of the content is pre-recorded when you do it alone in your solitude, and
That's
not to be affected by too many other
interesting.
energetic bodies.
Yeah, it's really interesting because my course is all pre-recorded and I'm not, a lot of it's doing it that way now, and a little bit face-to-face, but that's at the end. And when I find I do group work, I do it online now. But yeah, but my left side is really affected at the moment because I'm guarding a whole heap of stuff. So it's interesting what you're saying. I'm kind of relating to it more personally than business, but it all interacts. Yeah.
But now I can also see why it shows up the way Sharon said with you two, because if that's in your masculine, it's like, it's not that you're pro or against, it's like a vague concept, because again, all of that masculine right side that's supposed to provide structure and clarity, there's no clarity there. Everything that has to do with structure is just unclear. It's like something that you can't even grasp.
Mm.
Does it make sense?
Well, it's a new way of doing my business, which is, I don't know how to grasp. Do you know what I mean? I know how to do
But
business my old way, but I'm outgrowing it.
well,
So
sometimes when we don't have a specific energetic imprint, even something that would be easy to grasp, we can't grasp it because there's no blueprint for it on the energetic level.
yeah.
And just to say that as a side note, I am not one to say that everything is energy first. Like sometimes we're missing an energetic blueprint, sometimes it's something very physical, sometimes like everything has its place and its origin. And I think it's very important to know what came from energetics, what came from the physical, what came from the chemical, where does it originate? So this is when I'm saying that that's energetic, and it's not even only emotional, it's energetic as in the whole energetic body as well as the higher self. There's something a lot bigger happening that's creating this vagueness and openness. So that is something for you to look at. Okay. And that's how things get to be individual. When you look at your individual, what does your individual energetic body does? Thank you, Amanda, for letting me take a look at your energetic body. Thank you. I appreciate it. Sharon,
Yes.
would you like for us to move on to the next subject?
Yeah, whatever.
We have a lot. Actually, how about let's just skip the second one. I really want to hear from you. How do you define integrity?
When your thoughts, your words, and your actions match. I had to put in the right order. Thought, words, and actions. They have to match.
So it's basically the whole idea of coming up with an idea, yeah, and based on how you think.
No, if I say to you, Valery, I'm going to babysit for you on Friday at 4 o'clock. Right? There was a thought. I voiced it, and I have to do it. If I call you at 3:55, unless it's an emergency or an accident or whatever, and say, "Oh, sorry, Valery, can't do it anymore," that's not in integrity. Because I committed to doing something.
So integrity includes accountability.
100%. Right? And so integrity means you have your own inner guidance system. Most people don't have an inner guidance system. Most people don't have a code of conduct. You have to teach this in the West. You have to say, this is right behavior in this situation, because people have stopped listening to that little voice that says, maybe not, right? And so where we get really confused in spirituality is we may have an integral clinic, but it's the little things that count. If you think you have an integral business, but you're lying, you're gossiping, you're judging, you're shaming others, you're trying to ruin someone's business in the background because you're competitive, you're doing all these little sneaky things that you don't even want to see that you're doing, right? Because it's a light worker shadow. So they think, I'm helping all these people, so it's okay to get away with this. Because I have so much light, it's okay for me to have this chunk of darkness in here. It's not okay. It's actually not okay when you're a light worker. And so I always say to people, look at the little things. I'll give you like a vague little thing, a vague little example. I talk about integrity a lot. And I used to do this at the beginning of my journey. Things like sharing courses, right? Valery, don't pay for that. I've paid for it. I'm going to send you the password. I'm going to send you all the videos. Don't worry about it. That's not an integrity, because you're stealing, right? But that's a big one that a lot of people do. Things like, oh, I got a copy of the book on PDF and I'm going to share it so that you don't have to buy the book. That's not an integrity. So it's looking at all of those little things that we're doing that we're not even thinking about, but saying it's okay because I have a spiritual business.
Yes. Can you say a bit more about when it comes to comparison, all those things that you mentioned from the shadow that are not only accepted in other businesses that are not spiritually based, which is a whole situation on its own, because, eventually all the people are spiritual. We are spiritual beings. It's more about having a practice in the spiritual field is different than having a business in every other field.
Well, I'll share something. I worked in advertising in London, and it was more integral than working in spirituality in Melbourne.
How come?
We all had agreements. You knew what your role was. You knew what you were getting yourself into. If someone stepped out of line, they had to, we signed contracts, right? So if I'm working in advertising for a client, I can't take their product, their idea, because I'll be sued because I signed a non-disclosure agreement. If I'm working in advertising and you and I are competing for the same job within the same promotion, we would say to each other, I'll see you in the boardroom. We knew we were competing. And so it was a fair competition. So after the competition, whoever won would say, thank you very much, Valery. You won the promotion. I didn't. Let's go to the pub and sort it out. It was transparent. Spirituality is not transparent. It's sneaky. It's all behind the scenes. People trying to get away with things because, yes, we don't want the industry regulated, but no one can hold anyone to account. Does that make sense?
It's like it needs its own sort of regulation.
It
It
does.
needs a completely different regulation system that doesn't limit expansion and information that's coming through and ever evolving. But it needs that side of contracts, agreements, code of conduct, ethical practice, consequences,
Yeah.
and not just consequences that you sit there and wait for, something that just, you did something wrong and then something lands on you because your spirit team decided to throw a piano out the window on your head.
Well,
it-
the more I
there
look
should
at
be
this,
consequences a lot faster in the 3D right here, right now.
yeah, because all the consequences we're dealing with in spirituality are the spirit team telling you off. or something happening, right? Something happened to me recently and I shared in one of my groups. I had the dream of why it happened from something I did maybe 10 years ago. I actually saw it in the dream. That
Can you
action,
share?
it's very personal. Like
Okay, so
that action had a reaction,
mhm.
right? And I was like, wow, law of cause and effect in my face. But now that we know more and our consciousness is rising, it's going to be quicker. It's not going to take 10 years. Sometimes it takes 5 minutes. You're out of alignment and then boom, something happens, right? And you get hit. And so we need to learn from corporate in terms of the structures, like you said, and having those agreements. And I do share a code of conduct in my trainings. And I do share, I talk about spiritual laws, I talk about consequence, but these are more like abstract ideas for people. And so when
Mhm.
you're a new spirit worker, putting yourself out into the world, a lot of them are in survival. When you're in survival, when you're living paycheck to paycheck, you can't think straight. Because when you're in survival, you're going to do things that maybe are not integral out of desperation because you're living paycheck to paycheck.
Yes.
And the people who do the most out of integrity things are 99%, those are in deep survival mode. So I do have compassion for that. And this is why I try to say to people, come to spirit work when you can at least pay the rent, pay your bills, and have your 3D life sorted in some way. Right? But of course, people are like, oh, you're being elitist. Everyone should come to spirit work. But what happens is if you can't even afford a therapist, if something comes up, you're going to get so dysregulated when things start coming up. You're going to spiral more and more, and you're more likely to do things that you shouldn't be doing in that situation. And I've seen it a million times.
It's a huge part of it. And I can tell you right now, I'm doing a very in-depth process with my therapist. And there are days they just suck. They are horrible. When you process really deep things, the anger that comes up, the the memories, everything, and then you need to show up. Like if you don't know how to keep that out of your clinic, your clients are screwed.
Yeah.
Like I know how hard it is for me. It's not even just because it's something that I've been doing for so long. It never shows up in the clinic, but it shows up in my parenting.
Mm.
And I hate that. I hate to even know that that's my reality. But when I process all of those things, I'm I'm a shitty mom. And that makes it even more clear how much I need my therapist there when I'm going through those things. I need my mentors, I need my therapist. And yes, it's absolutely impossible to do that when you're in survival mode and you don't have resources for it,
Yeah.
because there's a basic hierarchy of needs. The tricky part there is that I think in other industries, it's very known and very common to say, well, you don't have to just drop everything and go and start that business. You can actually have your full-time job and then do it, build that one gradually. But for some reason, when it comes to spirituality and energetic work, it's not for some reason. It's because people usually go through some sort of breakdown and awakening, and then they just feel like they're allergic to everything else. They can't be next to other people. And I understand that all of us went through these processes, and it's like a complete shift of identity. You don't even know who you are until you go through that awakening phase when everything is just vibrating and lights and music around you. Yes, you can't do other things, but you can still operate in a similar way. So 15 years ago, when I was practicing and I left my regular job and I started my clinic, I was in survival mode, but instead of putting that on my clients, I went in a different direction in working with bigger organizations that straight away brought me more clients. At the same time, I also worked as a contractor. And even now, after 15 years, I still do contract work. I still work at the Tolman Center sometimes for a little bit. I do other work, other jobs for other organizations that just make sure that I can show up in complete integrity with each and every person that I'm seeing, because I don't want to have that hovering above me. It's not just how you show up with the clients, it's also how you structure your office, how much, how you're pricing them, because I know that in a lot of other business models, they usually tell you to reverse engineer how much you want to make per month. When, and also I see that in a lot of new teachings and new modalities that people started to teach recently, they just establish the modality, and then they say, as soon as you graduate, you have to charge a minimum of, I don't know, $270 or $350. You just graduated. Based on what? Why? So you need to give yourself that time to become that practitioner that can charge this amount, not out of the blue or because somebody told you. You actually need to have, not just to have time, you need to have money. And that's actually one of the principles. There's a wonderful spiritual teacher that I love how she's saying that um, level one of spirituality is to become a master of a householder, something like that. You need to graduate from the ability to provide, because if you can't provide, you can't move to the second level of spirituality and disconnect from the need, that scarcity that leads you in your business.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. Right? Because you need to, if you start a business from scarcity and poverty consciousness, it's not going to work. And like you, even when I created my clinic in London and then I moved to Australia, if I had to go back to advertising, I would. But there's a lot of shame around having two jobs, around not having your business explode straight away. I think more people should be honest, like you and I are being, about how long it takes, the things you have to do, that it's okay to do other work. It's okay to take a break. It's okay to become a provider, and not have to rely on it 100% from the spiritual work.
Yeah. And
All
especially
of
because
those,
there's also life happening, right? And
yeah,
we moved countries.
yeah.
I moved countries 3 times in my life.
So
You
all
can't,
those things,
it's also the ego about it, right? You can't expect to come to a new country and you're like, well, everybody knew me there, so I will come here and there will be a red carpet waiting for me. It doesn't work like that. Yeah, there's also a bit of realism that needs to be a part of that. Can
yeah.
you talk a bit about ethics and ethical practice, even though we did mention that when it comes to ethics and code of conduct, but would you like to say a few words on that as well?
Look, I was recently reading an amazing article. I haven't finished it all, from a Kabbalist, and they were saying it's not about ethics for spirit workers. It's about cosmic laws, universal laws. And so if you're going to be a spirit worker, you need to be aware of what those are. The number one law that encompasses all the laws: love thy neighbor. In witchcraft, harm none. Because if you are happy for other people, if you don't try to destroy their business, if you treat other people like you want to be treated, you're already encompassing all the laws.
All the religions have that one as well,
Yeah,
right?
all of them. And it's the hardest one as well, right? But that's the one. Harm none. And people don't realize how much they harm others without even trying, or subconsciously. And that's something I had to learn not to do, especially when you do spirit work or a lot of energy work like you and you have spiritual power. Your thoughts have power. My thoughts have power now. If I look at someone and judge them, if I look at someone and think badly of them, it's going to hit their energy field. So with power, like Spider-Man, with great power comes great responsibility. You have to monitor everything, not just your actions and what you say, your thoughts. How are you viewing your clients? Are you viewing them as a victim or are you viewing them in their highest light and potential? Right? The other one that's very common is the poverty consciousness one, where I have met people who've said to me, Sharon, my kinesiologist made me book a session every week for a year. And there's minimum shift in them. I'm like, what? What? That's not on. Right? And so poverty consciousness is going to make you do things like try to book someone every week, convince them that they can't live without you, bully and manipulate them into always coming to see you. Doesn't work. Right? Keeping the client as a child so they never grow up, they never evolve, they never become who they're meant to be. So I'm just basically mentioning all the patterns that I see all the time.
Yeah.
And they're not, no one talks about them. Like you said, they don't talk about them in any school. They don't talk about them in any training. And it's like, we need to talk about it.
Yeah, and then we're forced into not forced, like we are being led to do that work because actually I don't think that nobody talks about it. I think they do, but they talk about it in the complete opposite way. So in most trainings, they will train you to do exactly that.
Yes.
So when I just moved to Australia, I worked in a clinic. You remember next to you, I
Mm-hmm.
worked in a clinic where the team of the practitioners that worked there, they hired a coach. And that's exactly what they were taught to do. So new guys and girls that just finished studying remedial massage, myotherapy, they were told, choose a niche and promote yourself as an expert on it. That's number one. And they're like, but I don't know what I'm an expert on. I just finished school yesterday. No, that's marketing. You have to say that you are, even though you're not. And then there is competition. So you have to outrun your competition. Also, just a little side note here. I know I said myotherapy and body work, massage therapy. I know that for a lot of practitioners, it sounds like it's not connected. It's not spirit work. It's not energy work. But that's exactly why I said in the beginning that my basic training is biomechanics and body work. It's just as much as spirit work and energy work as anything else. And I'm just sharing with you my story because that's evidence that I'm doing all this really high-end energetic work because I have been a body worker. I didn't study, I didn't take any courses in energetic therapy, any studies. It's literally body work that led me there because they're connected. So thinking that if you are a body worker, a yoga teacher, a personal trainer, that you have no connection to a person's energetic body or spiritual bodies, all the light bodies, etheric bodies, it's just not true. So the problem is that all of these practices, not just in energetic therapy, but even bigger other ones that are relating to it, not only that people are not taught these things, they're taught the complete opposite things. They're actually encouraged to go and compete against others and manipulate. So manipulation is a part of marketing.
Mhm.
Sales has to rely on manipulation, not human connection, manipulation. That's what people are taught. And that's how we're just seeing from experience that when you don't have that baseline of integrity, everything collapses because if you don't have a stable, powerful, strong foundation, not only that the practice doesn't grow or evolve in the right way, you pay the price personally. It will backfire somehow into your personal life, in relationships, in health.
It
just in
creates
alignment in life.
it creates karmic contracts and entanglements that are very damaging. I just had a friend do an NLP training in Sydney, and she said that they were all coached, they all had to coach each other on how to get them to spend more money. I'm like, what?
And more money.
Spend more money on get people to spend more money on their training. So the NLP training
Oh.
was coaching you on how to use NLP technology to convince someone to spend more money on your trainings. That's dark
But
magic.
that's the basis of NLP. It was created
Yeah,
for that, right?
right.
Before it became a mindset thing.
It's dark magic.
It is.
It is. It's dark magic because, like, I really feel it. Um, I never, it's like these people don't even care. I never want someone to mortgage their home to do a training for one of my trainings. But they tell people, mortgage your home.
Take huge loans to do
Take
coaching,
huge loans that'll
training.
take you 10 years to pay off. And one of the first things I was taught by my Taoist teachers was don't do anything unless you can pay it in full up front. Because debt keeps you in poverty consciousness.
Yeah. You're basically enslaved to the
You-
debt.
You're, you're enslaved. And so I had a lot of student debts at the time, which I had to pay off really quickly. And then after that, I don't do a training unless I can pay for it up front.
Yeah.
Right? Because it keeps you in your power. It's like, okay. And I know it's hard for people. And, I offer payment plans, but I always say to people, if you can pay up front, pay up front.
It just feels light.
Yeah, it feels light, free. You're not tethered to it, and you're in your power.
It's such an important point. And again, it's just something that's not popular to talk about at all in the spiritual field
Hmm.
because we're not supposed to even talk about money. We're never supposed to charge. We're never, spirit workers are supposed to be volunteers.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Rachel, I just got your message. Yeah, the green one went in by accident, so I took it out because it didn't count. So it's okay. She got the right answer anyway. So it's fine. When you do things like that in the water, I just went and said, sorry, water, and took it out, and it works. So thank you. Um, we should get questions, right, Valerie? Because we're gonna run out of time soon.
Yes. I wanted to ask you, are you okay with that? Can we
Yes.
open this?
Yeah.
Let's do Q&As, people. Let's do Q&A. Let's do questions. Tell us what you got.
Or comments or concerns or triggers. I love seeing the cat during this whole talk, by the way. It's very soothing watching Lowena with her cat. It's like
Who would like to come on
Can
and share?
we?
Just start speaking. Yes,
Um,
Louina.
Sharon actually had a question in the group, and I would like to love your answer of that, but I forgot where to find that question.
Would you like for me to read the question? I screenshotted it,
Oh,
and
yes,
I
please.
also saw that Sharon answered, and she said that that's not exactly what she's going to talk about, but I do want to bring up one element of Karen's question, and that was not about the specific AI programs, apps, I don't know. It was more about how do we not, how do we stay in integrity and sovereignty, even though AI is basically studying us, and regardless of what we talk about, what we ask it, it in the background, it studies us, studies our personality, and it can do whatever it wants with it.
you know. Okay, how do we stay in sovereignty and integrity? You have to be a sovereign person first. There's no sovereign in AI and not sovereign in other areas of your life. It's like, how do we stay sovereign in all of life? AI, the cost of AI is that it's going to read you. So if you can mess with it by not allowing it to read you all the time, putting random things in there, speaking a different language. You know how they say when you want to start changing your neural pathways, walk a different way to work, eat something completely different. That's one fun way. But the other thing is take everything it says with a pinch of salt. Don't believe it. Say, I don't believe you. I say that a lot. I don't believe you. You're lying to me. Gets really annoyed. You're lying to me. I don't like you. Who do you think you are? Right? I challenge it. So even if I see a lot of people doing exactly as the AI tells them, it's just another reflection tool. And we just have to look at it and go, yes or no. And just as we're working with our own intuition, we sit with it and feel if it's right for us and it's right for our soul. Because even though it can pattern predict, it cannot read what our soul truly wants. That's not, it's too dead to read what our soul wants. So it can give us ideas on our human design. It can give us ideas on our astrology, but it can't read our soul.
All of these are already patterns. They're
Yeah.
already systems.
Yeah.
So it can predict a system. It can't tap into something higher and personal.
100%. And there's a lot of shaming in the spiritual community around people who work with AI. Like if you work with AI, you're part of the dark side, or you're bad, or you're this, or you're that. It's like saying if you work with Google, if you work with Facebook, if you work with Instagram, it's all part of the same thing. It's just a more technological version of it. So I don't think we can stand on a high horse and say, I'm good because I don't work with AI, but I can work with everything else. It's all part of the same thing. How you show up in it and how it responds to you is based on your pattern of thinking and your energy field. But like I say, take it all with a pinch of salt.
And also AI is integrated in everything, right?
Mhm.
So AI is a part of Facebook, is a part of Instagram, Google, and everything else around you. Your phone, your computer, everything is operated by AI today.
Yeah.
So you can't actually avoid it. Saying, I don't use it, you are using it,
You are using
even
it.
if you don't want to use it. The
Everyone.
thing, yeah, we're all using it. The thing is more about, I would say my take on it is more about what you're using things for
Mhm.
and remembering that on a soul level, we are all creators. So what we never want to outsource is creation. We don't want to give away, when we say about giving away our power, it's giving away our creative power. For me, that would be loss of sovereignty and power. Because specifically, sovereignty is, I don't think that any of us is fully sovereign. I think it's a work in progress, it's a journey. We're all working on it. I've done so many things that have to do with sovereignty, studying common law, studying universal laws, practicing all these things. And yet I become more aware of the things where I'm not in full sovereignty. And I know that who knows how long it will take me to get there, or any of us, yeah. But what we,
Humanity overall. How long
yeah,
it will take humanity overall. But just notice when you're giving your power away to it and you're allowing it to be the full decision maker, like Valery says. If you don't get it to write things for you, you write it, you check it, maybe get some feedback, and then you rewrite it. That's how I like doing it, right? Because you can't get it to the minute Valery said a hugely important point. The minute you outsource your creativity, you outsource your connection to source, basically.
that's basically who you are, a
Yeah,
creator.
yeah,
So giving away your power is giving away creation.
pretty much. Um,
Let's check questions.
no, there's nothing. Does that answer the question, Louina?
Can I just
Yeah.
give a bit of the trick that I like to use is I use multiple LLM And I like to say my client this, my friend this, and then hide all the gender, but it's actually my question. I have a friend and a friend, and then I get them to check things with each other. I treat them like smart interns. They still need to check by a human at the moment, but they're getting smarter. The other day, I was doing something with Grok and then with Gemini and then with DeepSeek, and then I didn't tell them which AI. And DeepSeek somehow say, so Grok said that, and I never mentioned that was from Grok, right? And it shocked me. I was, how did you know that was Grok? Oh, from the pattern of what they are answering, I can tell that is from Grok. And
Wow.
so so I was like, ooh, so I was trying to hide all the identity. I never say it was me, never say, yeah, I just don't trust them. And Grok has a privacy, when you pay for X, you have a private thing that they never go to training and thing. I still don't trust them. But I think it's really useful. But I just want to know, like, as spiritual people, because they download things. How many things is the AI downloading that they think is that I'm downloading, but it's AI feeding them? I think that is more the discernment
Oh, yeah, it's
along the
not
way.
downloading anything. The AI is not downloading anything. The AI is um, reflecting a pattern. That's all. And reflecting what's already on Google and YouTube and everything else. Like one thing my spirit team were 100% clear about, never put my content, my group content, my private course content in AI. Never, ever, ever. Right. Social media content, whatever, it's going to go on social media. But group content, no. Because I don't trust it either, Lowena. Right. And at the end of the day, it's part of the Aquarian age, right? But it's going to make people lazy. People are going in there to get psychic predictions, to get readings, and they're not going to be accurate because there's no soul involved, right?
It's also interesting to see with therapy how so many people are trying to use AI as their therapist when we all know by now that one of the basic things about therapy is nervous system coherence and the co-regulation that you get with another person, that only a real human active nervous system can do for you. A nervous system and an energetic body. That is something that a machine that does pattern recognition and information gathering from the internet can never give people. It can give information, but that we already see. This is basically the same as talk therapy. Why does talk therapy usually doesn't work? Because it's just our intellectual mind. But we need another human system there, and it just can't replace it.
Pretty much. Thank you. Okay. I think that's it.
Anyone else? You can ask about anything. Yeah, it doesn't have to be AI. It can be about anything we spoke about ethics, about coaching in the spiritual space, anything that you want to ask the two of us specifically.
I think everyone's probably fried now.
Yeah, probably. Okay. Well, guys, I will share this call with everyone. You will have our emails, and if you want to send more questions, more information, you're welcome to contact us. I will share our Instagrams, our emails, and if you think of something, you're welcome to contact us. Sharon, thank you so, so much for your time. I'm really happy that you joined me today.
Thank you. And thank you for bringing this to life and all your beautiful insights. And thank you to everyone else for showing up live and being patient and being a part of this, bringing to the group energy. May everyone be infinitely blessed. Thank you, Valery. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. Have a wonderful night.
Thanks. Bye. Bye.
Bye.